It's the Friday of Easter long weekend. I've decided to come up. It's the Friday of the Easter long weekend. I've decided to come and do an overnight road trip north of Adelaide. It's going to be 34 and sunny, and I have chosen to wear all black. That might have been a mistake. And this expanse of slightly pink salt is Lake Bumbunga. It's known as a pink lake, but as I should have guessed, we're just coming to the end of summer. It's pretty hot and there's no water. But before we do anything else, let's just send the drone up, because there's not much to look at from here. Treasure. I was going to start talking to you, but there was an op shop there, and I cannot pass up an opportunity. So, the point of today. So, it's the Easter long weekend. It's the Friday, and this was originally going to be a 2-day trip, but I reckon I'm going to get to where I want to go and photograph the things I want to photograph just in one day, one overnight trip. So from Adelaide, I left this morning at lunchtime and I've come up. That was Lake Bumbunga. It's one of at least 6 pink lakes in South Australia. So obviously it's a 4-day weekend. It's a really long weekend, and I don't want to be squandering my time anymore sitting around on my days off just doing chores and things like that. And so a weekend like this, I really wanted to take the opportunity to get out and properly get some distance between home and my destination. A big driver behind this trip is my drone. It's my new toy, so I want to get out and I want to use it as much as possible. Anytime I'm looking at a photography destination, I keep thinking, oh, can I send my drone here? What would look good? What could I do? What shots could I get? I really need to be paying attention to where I'm going. What's this say? Oh, Snowtown? Go see the bodies in the barrels. So like I said, getting out and using the drone was a big factor in planning this particular weekend. So Lake Bumbunga, I could fly my drone there, that was fine. The salt is slightly pink, but when it's actually got water in it, it's quite a nice, bright, pastel-y hue of pink. I'm not disappointed with that. I think that was very cool, but I definitely would think about coming back when it does have water in it. And from here, I'm continuing north up the coast. I'm going to stop by Port Pirie, then Port Augusta, then I'm going to turn onto the Eyre Peninsula, and I'm just going to go a little south down there to Whyalla. And at Whyalla, there are these salt pans. You'll see that there's a lot of salt pans and salt lakes in this trip. I'm hoping I've got time, but I want to head just a little further west to Lake Giles Conservation Park. Can't fly the drone there, but there's free camping and it's a salt lake again. And I think that'd be a real nice spot to spend the night, maybe get out and do some astrophotography, and then a bit of sunrise. That ticks all the boxes for what I wanted to do this weekend. So after that, I'm just going to drive like the 5 hours back home. But for now, just heading down the road. I only decided to come down to Port Pirie because I'd never been here before. It's fine. Not much going on. Kate did say, not much at Port Pirie. It's okay. It's kind of nice. It's green. And there's more here than I thought there'd be. But I don't need to be here. No photos to take. So I am going to stop by McDonald's. And then I'm going to keep going. All the way to Port Augusta. It's now 4:30, so I think I'm going to go straight from here through Port Augusta and go straight to Lake Giles Conservation Park, because I don't think I'll have time to fit in the salt pans beforehand. May as well get to where I'm sleeping before it's too late, and I'll just do the salt pans and Whyalla tomorrow morning. First, McDonald's. So it's currently 8 o'clock, 7:59, and I realised while I was driving, the sun had said it was getting darker, kept looking at Google Maps, and I was looking at the time left to get there and how many kilometres until the turn. Then I realised I'd been looking at it for like 10 minutes and none of those things had changed and the little arrow wasn't moving on the line. That's when I realised Google Maps had frozen and I don't know where I was meant to turn off. So I've kept going and I'm at the town of Kimber. I am still offline, apparently. I'm going to call Kate. Because you can get service, but service doesn't mean data, which is annoying. I don't know where I'm going. Can you crack out the old tablet and help me find out where I am or where I was meant to go? So I've overshot it as much as I was meant to go north, or like more so. Yes, I did pass Iron Knob. Okay, I spoke to Kate. She reckons 20 kilometres back up the road, and then I should see one particular road on my right, and then immediately after that is the road that is named for the Lake Giles Conservation Park. So I just need to keep an eye out for those, and I should see it, and I should get there, and mental note, get some sort of app where you download the maps. There's a cat crossing the road. Yeah, better navigation app next time. How abouts? Alright, back to it. I think we may have found it. Visit Lake Giles. Gotta keep the engine going, don't you know? Otherwise the bush murderers will get me. Short drive up the gravel road and we will be there. I'm guessing there's going to be somewhere to park up around here. Okay, so I finally found the lake. I came up the road. There's this sort of loop area which just exits back where it came, and I kept driving on, and I think that turned out to be the four-wheel drive only road. And I took that down and I saw one other caravan, like camper, set up. They had their lights on, and I pulled up and I was looking at the map and I had a bit of a look out there, and it didn't seem quite right. I think it was. I think I just sort of got disorientated by how many turns the road took, but I came back up. I'm parked on the loop now, and I actually noticed this time the entrance and some signboards. And so you just walk through the fence here and you head down and you're at the Salt Lake. What I think I'm going to do is quickly set this up so I can sleep here when I get back, and then I'm going to grab my camera bag and I'm going to go out and just get some astro photos, because the night sky looks great. It feels like it's been so long since I've seen it like properly like this. Probably need to leave the windows open when I'm out so that these guys can maybe exit the car. But I reckon this will be fairly comfortable. Lots of leg room. I don't often sleep sitting up, but I'll have to. I got some greenery, giving this place some life. Beautiful. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the tripod, I'm going to take my bag, and I'm going to head out there, and then afterwards I get to sleep. So I just snapped a photo. This is the back of the camera. So this is looking just back in the direction that I walked. You can see that there's a fair amount of air glow. Stars are coming out really nice. And just to the left of where the Milky Way meets the horizon. So that glow there is either from where the moon is going to rise in a little bit, or it's Port Augusta. Because with the naked eye, I can definitely see a glow on the horizon. So I just took a couple other photos. They were 30-second exposures, and I bumped up the ISO to 6400. And I don't do that normally with astrophotography, because I like to stack the images, so I don't want to make them too grainy to start out with. But it's just a nice way to take a nice bright photo of the landscape, and I don't know, I'm very impressed with it tonight. Like, there's a lot of detail you can see in the night sky right now, and so what I'm thinking I will do, I'm going to go for a stacked panorama. It's almost a 180 degree image. So I've got the camera set 20 seconds, f2.8, ISO 3200, and the lens is at 16mm. I'm going to take 5 sequential images, all of the same exposure. I'm going to go right to left, just turning it by a few degrees each time so I get about 50% overlap between photos. And I'm going to go from looking that way all the way around to there. And I hope it turns out well. I'll take those photos into Lightroom and edit them. Then I'll use a different program to stack them all together to reduce the noise, and then I'll probably end up stitching them together in Photoshop. We don't have to talk about that right now. I'm going to put this down and I'm going to start taking photos. Oh God. What's going on here? I just took out that whole bit with my foot. That's something I always forget is a chair, because for whatever reason I'm always squatting down next to my tripod and I always get tired and my legs get sore, and there's definitely nowhere for me to sit here. I should have brought a chair. I have no idea how many images that panorama is going to be made up of. I lost count of how many times I turned the camera, but it's nice to be out here and to be taking photos again. This is obviously not the most interesting landscape for astrophotography, but it's just nice to take the opportunity and go for it and take some photos. Right now though, back to the car, brush my teeth, went to bed, and would you believe it, I'm actually going to get at least 8 hours sleep. It's just gone 10 and sunrise isn't till 7:30. Looks like this torch and this camera are running out of battery, so I will see you in the morning. So it's just after 7. Woken up by my alarm. Got a bit colder than I was expecting it to get. I thought it was going to be a low of like 18 degrees. But this feels a bit chillier, which I guess would make sense for being out in a place like this. Didn't actually sleep with my head up this end. I slept with my head down here. I realised I don't think I would find a way to be comfortable laying like that somehow. It was alright, it wasn't the best sleep, and I did forget to bring a pillow, which would have been nice. It's time to get up now though, and hopefully take some photos. I reckon we're getting pretty close to sunrise now. I still don't know what I'm going to photograph exactly. I quite like the trees, like these behind me. I read a signboard last night, and apparently if they look this big, mostly just with the leaves on the top, they could be up to 250 years old. So I like the trees. I also like where the dirt meets the salt, going in both directions. I just think it makes a nice contrast and it gets those little bushes. So I'd like to get a photo that has maybe both some of these nice trees and the salt and the dirt mixing. But I think I'm going to wait until the sun pops up over the horizon, and then I'll have a better idea of what I'm going to photograph. Sun's up, and I'm currently getting distracted by the patterns in the salt. Just handheld shots. I think it's nice. I'm trying my hardest to get a range of different shots, not just wide landscapes but also detailed shots and pretty much anything that catches my eye. Got a couple shots. Nothing that I think is too amazing. I do struggle to photograph forests and bush like this. I struggle to find detail in all the busy foliage. There are a lot of spider webs. So, what I was saying before I got distracted, I feel like I'm not having much luck here. So I think I'm going to get back in the car and I'm going to head down the four-wheel drive road to where I was last night, because that also opened up onto the lake. No. I'll try my luck down there. So I haven't had much success down here either. It's not so much about the landscape here, but more the fact that there's a lot of tire marks in the sand, in the salt, because obviously this is where everyone camps down here. There's only one family right now, but obviously everyone has a go, gets their bikes out, gets their cars out, and it doesn't make it nice to photograph. So I'm going to pack it in here. I'm going to get some breakfast and I'm going to make some coffee, and then I will get back on the road and continue to Whyalla. I'm using this Trangia to make myself coffee. I think it's about as old as I am. And don't have a flat surface in sight. I had the unfortunate realization when I was packing this coffee yesterday that this is about 6 months old now. I've had my breakfast and I've got my coffee, so it is time to pack up the car and get back on the road. I can actually get to Whyalla and I can take the photos that I came out here for. Lake Charles though, it's pretty nice. I would definitely come back, probably with more of an idea of where to go, maybe a bit more time to explore. It's very nice though. I worked out what was making the tracks. The kids that are staying over there have a couple go-karts or something. It sounds like they're made with the lawnmower engines. They look pretty fun, to be honest. Alright, finally made it to Whyalla. I stopped in at the information centre so I could get Wi-Fi, so I knew where to come out here. The salt pans are in that direction. My car's covered in bugs. So the salt pans are in that direction. I'm going to chuck my drone on the ground out here, send it up, send it out, and I don't know how far away they are. Hopefully I'll be able to get photos and videos on the one battery. I guess if I have to, I'll chuck in another one and send it up again. It's on its way back now. I wasn't going to take the chance of just trying to fly it back to me, because I would have no idea where to send it. It was beautiful out there. The pink, the magenta, the red colours. It's exactly what I saw on Google Maps. I'd probably send it out again. Maybe just for a little bit more. But it is like 2 kilometres away, so it takes a little bit of time to get out there. So I ended up sending it out twice. I think I went about 4 kilometres away from here, and I'm really happy with the photos. And the video, that's very nice as well. But the photos are pretty cool. It was great to photograph such colourful salt pans. So now that I've done that, I think it's time to go home. I reckon from here it's going to be about a 5-hour drive. so I'll be home by 6. The only issue is I really thought I'd get more service out here, so I have no more podcasts left, and the radio that you get out here is not great. But I'll survive. Anyway, you don't need to see any of that, it's just going to be boring highway driving. More of it. Stick around to see the photos. Stick around to see the photos that I got on the trip, or you can head over to my Instagram, linked below, and you can see them all there. And for my next video, I don't know. It'll either be Second Valley again. If not, then it's going to be Broken Hill next weekend. If it's Broken Hill, I hope there's something interesting out there. We'll see. Alrighty then. See you next time.